What is up, everybody? We are rolling audio here today on episode 53 of The Hotter Show. How are you doing? I hope you're having an absolutely fantastic day so far. Thank you so much for tuning in, clicking that play button on part one of my conversation with Anthony from Out of My League. Holy crap, guys. Just a short intro today because this podcast and part two were so amazing. The amount of conversation that I had with Anthony, I didn't expect. We gelled so well. It was so much fun. We didn't even really talk about Out of My League till like almost an hour in. So yeah, lots of random ass funny segues. So much fun. I've never had this much fun recording a podcast, and I know Anthony had a great time too. You can definitely expect him back. This is not, and I repeat, is not a family-friendly episode of The Hotter Show. There is some four-letter words that get dropped kind of more as the podcast goes on, so just want to let you guys know. Anytime there are four-letter words or anything like that, I'm going to try and let you guys know, just because I'm still going to try and maybe keep them to a minimum, but just the conversation we were having, I knew that if we kept it completely four-letter word-free, it wouldn't have been the same conversation, so not really going to talk about a whole lot else, guys. I just want to kind of get right into this. Well, thank everybody for the support with the Outshine podcast last week. That was awesome. You guys can check out Outshine's EP on iTunes now. Go check it out. It is absolutely amazing. You guys heard some tracks exclusively on The Hotter Show last week. And, of course, you're going to hear why as it's my intro and outro now. So definitely go check that out, guys. It's so awesome. And, again, don't forget that on August 29th, Outshine is going to be on Generation Next on 90.9 The Rock. And September 10th, they have their CD release party. So that's a very awesome one to give those guys another shout-out. Go check the EP out, guys. It is seriously awesome. I, of course, want to give a shout-out as well to my man, Mr. Jason Reese over at Jaybird Digital Arts. You guys know if you need any kind of merch, digital art, any kind of logos, or anything like that, you hit Jason up. You can find him on the web at www.jaybird, that's Jaybird, digitalarts.com. You can also hit him on the Facebook under the Jaybird Digital Arts handle. And, of course, you can hit him up on the Instagram as well. I don't mean to be rushing these guys, but you guys know how much I appreciate Jason and all that he has done for The Hotter Show and that. I'm only rushing today a little bit in the intro to kind of get into the podcast here, because I know it's a bit of a long one. I know that some people dig when I go long, much over the hour point, but this one is almost at about the 2-hour mark. So, either way, hope you guys enjoy it. I was going to edit a lot out to kind of make it that hour and kind of stick with the kind of the meat and potatoes of the podcast, which was talking about Out of My League and Anthony's experiences drumming in that. But I decided to leave all of it in just because there was so much fun, random segues. It was an absolute blast. You can tell how much fun we had. And like I said, obviously, aside from his part two, Anthony will definitely be on the podcast again, not necessarily talking about band stuff, but just kind of, again, to shoot the breeze because it was just so much fun. So really hope you guys enjoy. Let's get into it. Alright, so I'm sitting at the kitchen table. In the kitchen, folks. In the kitchen at living room area of the Hotter Show Studios, a.k.a. my basement apartment. And I'm sitting here. I've already been talking with this guy for like half an hour before I even had the microphones rolling. So finally I said, dude, like, I got to shut up and like turn these microphones on so we can get rolling here. I'm sitting here with a man who beats the Skins for a very good, I'm just kidding, very solid, awesome metalcore band from the Bowmanville area. If you guys couldn't guess, or if you haven't followed me on the Snapchat, which I do recommend you do, because you'll get exclusive sneak peeks and so forth on who's going to be on the show. Ladies and gentlemen, joining me on the podcast at this time, Mr. Anthony, I'm not going to be able to pronounce his last name, Mr. Anthony Rizzuto.
Rizzuto. That's close enough. I'll take it.
All right. Anthony Rizzuto from Out of My League. What's up, brother?
Hey, what's up, man? I'm good.
So we've kind of been hanging out the last like half hour here, just kind of shooting the breeze. And like I said, I'm like, oh damn, I really got to start recording.
If we started recording like 20 minutes ago, it'd already be pure gold. We could have ended the episode.
Oh yeah, I know, but that's always what happens. All the good conversations happen when I'm not rolling audio.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
That's always what happens.
Oh dude. Yeah.
But I'm sure some of the stuff we talked about we'll get back into.
Oh,
but
I'm sure.
I guess first and foremost, what's up? What's new and exciting?
I mean, nothing really. Like, I got off a couple shows from last week. Like, we just played one in Whippy, one in Ajax. Oh, and we opened for Attila. That was cool.
Oh yeah, that's who I was saying it earlier. I couldn't remember who was the last, and it was Attila. That's what it was. I remember people were like, "Dude, you guys have finally made it," and I'm like, they've opened up for like the Acacia Strain, freaking like Fit for an Autopsy, a bunch of other bands. I can't remember.
Fit for an Autopsy and Acacia Strain were the same show, by the way.
That's right. Yeah, it was them. Who was the other one? That's really awesome. Kublai Khan was.
Kublai Khan was the one that didn't make it over the border, unfortunately. Okay. But Counterparts was there.
That's it. Well, it was Counterparts.
And then we opened for Counterparts again, like 4 months later.
Yeah, because Kublai Khan are like, those guys are brutal.
They're crazy.
They're awesome.
Yeah.
As a Acacia Strain. And out of my league. They're all right, I guess.
Yeah.
So, I got a whole bunch of stuff here to ask you because, again, I'm actually prepared for once.
Ooh.
If you guys have noticed a theme lately, I've actually been prepared for my my hanging out episodes.
Should your listeners get used to it, you being prepared? Yeah.
Probably. When I do the podcast on my own, when I do like my random, like, hey, I'm going to spend 20 minutes randomly ranting about something for an intro, and then, 20 minutes talking about some random BS, and then another 20 doing something else. Like when I do those are all over the place. But when I do these hanging out episodes now, I like to try and be at least a little bit prepared, have some questions.
All right.
I'm not sitting here like twiddling my thumbs, like, please keep talking. I got nothing for you. I got a whole bunch of stuff to ask you, stuff about out of my league, stuff about the EP, stuff about your gear you use, a whole bunch of stuff. Got a lot of ground to cover, but
yeah, cool.
Kind of still on the topic of something new. People would shoot me.
Okay.
And like literally burn me alive if I did not ask this question.
All right.
The hard question here.
Oh,
just get it out of the way now.
Yep. Go. Let's go.
As of what was it? About a month ago, maybe somewhere around there. Couple weeks ago.
I'd say at most a month. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, you already know the question I'm going to ask you, but
yeah, no, absolutely.
You guys announced that you were parting ways with Taylor, who was your former rhythm guitar player. So people would, like I said, people would burn me alive if I didn't ask kind of what happened there. As much as you like to go into, obviously we know that Mav was filling in for some shows.
Right.
I'm sure he did a horrible job. But,
absolutely. Brought us down.
Brought you guys down. I'm surprised you guys didn't just break up and just say, we can't do this anymore.
We thought about it. But then we decided we were just going to kill Mav instead. So,
There you go. See, I haven't seen him for a couple days, so I figure that's...
Yeah, and you never will again, so...
You never will again. But as far as kind of what... like I said, as much as you want to talk about, just like, as far as what...
So basically, I'm not going to get into it too much just to respect his privacy and all that. But... we still respect the crap out of the guy. Like, he did a lot of great work for the band.
Sure, yeah.
Like, he was the one that came up with the name, for crying out loud.
Out of my league.
I still remember coming up with the name. We were actually in our high school library in the 12th grade on a spare, and he's like, okay, I narrowed it down to 2 names.
Oh, God.
And it was something stupid, like Start the Fire or something, and we're like... Yeah, didn't you?
I remember that. Me and Dom, because you guys know Dom was on the podcast before, and we talked Start the Fire, and I was like, seriously? Like, I'm like, okay, like it's an okay name, and I'm like, because like OOML, like to me, when I first heard it, I was like, that's like a pop punk band.
Yeah,
and then but I heard Start the Fire, and I was like, okay, if you guys went with that name, and you're a metalcore band, I'm like, I can't see it happening. Which I'm in the league, I'm like, okay, cool, it works, but. Start the Fire. I'm like, you might as well just be like, we are Start the Fire, and this song is called Pizza Party. Like, it's just, and that's with all due respect to pop punk.
Absolutely.
Defend pop punk here, folks.
But yeah, so we came up with that name. And they said Out of My League. And I'm like, well, if we only have those two choices, I mean, Out of My League sounds like the better one, don't you think?
Then that's gonna be it.
We spent like a week trying to come up with band names. We're like, I guess this is all we got. So we stuck with Out of My League, and yeah, that's how that started. But back to the original point at hand. Taylor did a lot of great things for the band. Like, we wouldn't be able to get here without him, but eventually it just came down to a few things, like a few disagreements that not all of us could look past, and eventually it just came to the point where like we have to separate ways. Like, best of luck to him. I hope he does something else in the future. Like,
for sure.
He deserves it.
Yeah.
But as of right now, he just wasn't the best fit for the band. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, I did get a couple people ask me.
Right.
And I did mention it, like the first podcast I did. I can't even remember what it was, but I was just like, I don't know anything. I'm not going to ask right now. Like, everyone leave me alone about it. Like, there was like two people asking, but I felt like, I think it was because like they literally both mentioned me at the same time. And they're like, dude, what's going on? I'm like, I don't know.
I love how they come to you for Out of My League.
I know. Like, they're like, TJ might know. And I'm like, okay, just because I do podcasts
and mention
like,
and name drop them at least 5 times an episode.
Yeah, at least. There was a period of time, dude, where like for like I literally think 10 episodes straight.
Yeah.
Out of My League was involved in the episode somehow. And like I think it was my buddy Brandon, Mr. Brandon Bell, the producer of the Harder Show. Finally, he just texted me. He's like, bro, you gotta stop name dropping Out of My League. I'm like, what do you mean? He's like, I get why, because like you're like, oh yeah, their new EP, check this out, you know?
Yeah.
Or like, oh yeah, my intro song, Out of My League, you know? And he's just like, I get it, but like, you did the episode with Dom, leave it alone. And I'm like, all right. So. Anyone who caught that, it was pretty funny for a little while, but
I might have to go back and listen to all of them.
I think there was literally like 10 in a row where I was like, Out of My League, Out of My League, Out of My League.
Shit.
I mean, because I was talking about stuff it wasn't like I'm talking about like wrestling, and then all of a sudden I'm like, oh yeah, so anyway, Out of My League.
This would have been so much better, the background of Out of My League.
Yeah. The intro, the theme song for this pay-per-view should have been this song. I'm working on it for you guys. But,
thank you.
But so people were just asking about it, and I was like, I don't know anything. And so I had to ask. I did have a couple of people like, oh, you're going to ask him? You're going to ask him? You're going to talk some dirt and so forth? And I'm like, look, it's not like that, folks. It's, best of luck to Taylor.
Absolutely.
He's a good dude, so I wish him nothing but the best, and I know you guys do as well. So that's that. We're going to get off it, but I knew I had to ask you that question.
Not a problem. Not a problem.
With that out of the way, and now that we're kind of rolling here, the first thing I usually ask people who come on the Harder Show here is how we met and how we know each other. But obviously we know how we know each other. Yeah. But as far as how we met,
you sold me sticks.
I sold you drumsticks, I think, one time, and that's that out of the way. Yeah. Like sometimes there's stories,
Yeah.
Like Brandon Hastings outshine he has a funny story, but like most people, it's like, yeah, I just like showed up one day, and I was like, hey, and then that was it. So, no good stories there, but
well, I mean, I think when I first met you, I was taking a lead to go get something from the shop, and basically how it turned out, how every other time I showed up at gigs after that turned out. I showed up to get something, and then an hour later, I didn't get anything and just walk away after us just shooting the breeze.
Yeah, that was what I was famous for at gigs. You'd walk in to get something, and I'd talk here for an hour, and then you'd be like, well, I gotta go. Then you'd be like, I didn't get my drumsticks.
Yeah, that's pretty much every time something, like if we went to go pick up Steven's guitar, or Lee wanted to look at something, it just ends up being like we're talking about something completely different.
I remember the one time you guys came in, it was, I think it was actually just you. You came in randomly, and for some reason, I had this crazy idea.
Yeah.
I think I was talking with Steven about like you guys doing a cover or something at one point.
Right.
There was a week-long period where I think you guys were like thinking about it, or he was. I don't remember. Maybe it was YouTube. I can't remember. So he was like, "Oh, like, yeah." I was like, "Yo, I have a song for you guys to do." And I was all excited because I'm like, "Yo, they could like do this song and make it like really different and unique, and it'd be really cool." And
yeah,
I think you came in first.
Yeah.
And like I was all excited, and like I think it was like my second time ever meeting you. And cause I could tell, I'm like, this is a good dude, And I'm like, yo, I got a song for you guys to cover. You're like, okay. And I played it for you. And I still remember, like, you're kind of like, like, just, okay. And it was, the song was by a band called Sepultura, Slave New World. Now, anyone who knows that song, good tune, but not like a metalcore hard rock song or hardcore song by any stretch of the imagination. So it was just, I don't know. I find that so funny. I was like, this is gonna like make your careers. Like, you're gonna cover this song and people are gonna be like, that's sick, and then they're gonna go buy your record. Anyway, I thought that was funny, but kind of rolling along here. What kind of got you started as far as with drums and wanting to get behind a kit and that kind of thing?
Okay. Well, it's an interesting question. I think I started getting interested in drums in like the 7th grade. What ended up happening was it was music class, like my first like actual music class. And like our teacher had laid out all the instruments on all the chairs and was like, okay, go.
Okay, go. Pick something.
You're going to pick up a bunch of stuff and basically see what you like, see if you can play in it, yada, yada, yada. And I'm like, okay. I walk around all the instruments, like the flutes, the clarinets, and the saxophones and all that shit. And I'm like, okay, I've tested out all of these. The only one I can somewhat remotely play is a clarinet, and then nothing else. Like, I was screwed. So I'm like, okay, the only thing she won't let us test out is the drum. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to go hit shit. And she made us write down a list of our top 3 instruments. I'm like, drums immediately. And then I think I kind of made her feel bad. Like, I gave her no other option because the other 2 I wrote clarinet and flute. And she's like, I can't put a bigger guy on the clarinet or flute, especially in the 7th grade. So she's like, okay, you're playing drums now. And I'm like, yes. So that got me into like percussion, I should say, like learning about rhythm and how like all those rhythms stick together on the page and all that.
How all that stuff works.
Yeah, exactly. Then in the 9th grade, I was still in music. I was a music kid throughout all of high school. And I met Taylor, actually, in my music class. He was like, it was me, him, and a buddy of mine in the drum section. We just got to talk, and he said he played guitar and stuff, and he had a drum kit at his house. I'm like, I have never played a drum kit.
I've never played a drum kit.
Yeah, it wasn't until 9th grade I actually like hopped on a drum kit, and it was at his house. Wow. His little shitty CB drum kit with like cymbals that looked like they were like made out of something really hard. Like, that didn't sound good at all, but
yeah,
like,
you just hate it. It's just like
pretty much, yeah. It just sounded like literally like you were just dropping a big piece of metal on the ground. I'm like, all right. So just started hitting that and got comfortable with it, and I'm like, okay, I can do this. And he's like, okay, we're starting a band. I'm like, okay,
we're starting a band.
And that was in the 9th grade, and we started playing around, and I started playing more. And then for Christmas, I pretty much begged my parents. I'm like, get me a drum kit.
Please get me a drum kit.
Like, honest to God, like, this is all I want right now. And they did. And like throughout the years, I just kept practicing. I played with Taylor a bunch, like practicing in my basement, his basement, just jamming around. But yeah, that's pretty much like the origin story, I guess, of me playing drums. It's just a few happy like coincidences, I guess.
And then you just kind of started banging around in the kit.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think in like the 10th grade, I got my first double kick, and I had no idea how to use them. And I'm like, all right, we're just going to alternate feet, and it's going to sound cool. And then I'm like, all right, time to play Avenged Sevenfold now. And immediately went into like Afterlife and shit like that. And I'm like, this is not a good idea, but I'm going to keep doing it.
Bad idea, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, and then that was where everything just went downhill. You got that double kick. And
yeah, exactly. Started playing I started depending on that. Now I play shitty metal music. So.
No, not you. You're one of the few that actually I'll hear and I'll be like, there's some creative drumming happening here, not just. I don't drum, you don't. But
oh yeah.
So you mentioned something I was going to ask you.
Oh yeah, go ahead.
As far as you say you're a music kid all throughout high school and that.
Yeah.
So you're like, when I say classically trained, I don't necessarily mean like.
I went to like music school.
Yes,
and
just
shit.
like you like sit down and can read. Sheet music and so forth.
Yeah, I can. Like, when it comes to full kit music, I'm not exactly great at it because of like all the weird placements and everything. Yeah. I never really learned, so I'm like, okay, that's just a bunch of circles on the lines. No idea what goes where. But like when it comes to like I was in the drum line too. Like I got good at reading, like just snare music, like complicated snare music, anything like triplets and shit like that. And everyone else would take like 10, 15 minutes to figure like out a bar. 5 minutes in, I'm like, okay, we can play it now. Like, I'm ready to go.
I'm ready to go. What
How fast is this? Like 150 BPM? Okay, let's go.
I can do this, no problem.
Like, I just got really good at reading sheet music and just figuring out the rhythm. Because, like, I guess I had a good understanding of, like, tempo and shit like that. I don't know how I got that.
Naturally. Some people just naturally, I think, have that.
Yeah. Well, from a young age, I was told I was really good with, like, numbers and patterns and stuff like that. So I guess that's kind of where that comes from. It just kind of clicked. Like, it all just kind of made sense. So, I mean, that's my guess.
That's my guess. That might be why. As far as, like, learning drums, I mean, you kind of touch on it, but it came to you pretty quickly and easily for the most part then.
Well, like I said, I learned the rhythm stuff from like music classes, stuff like that, and I was in like the school bands and stuff, so that kind of taught me like what fits in a song almost. Like instead of like just hitting a bunch of shit and like I'm gonna be the loudest, it kind of taught me like what a good composition is, like what should go where, how loud something should be, what would fit, what wouldn't. And then in terms of like practicing at home on the kit, I actually started out by just throwing on like the easiest songs I could think of. Like I practiced 1985 by Bowling for Soup. I'm sure you know that song.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And then I played some like pop songs. I remember throwing on TikTok by Kesha and just being like, all right, we're just going to play around to this. And that's how I pretty much got it started. Like just like playing around, just sticking to the beat. And then as I kept going on, then I got my double kicks and stuff. I moved on to like metal and rock and stuff like that, and just learning all the metal, not the metal placements, like the drum placements. Like I remember I jammed a lot to 3 Days Grace.
Yeah,
like that was one of the big ones.
There's some solid. Like Neil's a very underrated drummer.
Oh, he's amazing.
As far
I
as
love
his placement and that.
Like I remember trying to learn Riot, and just the weird and the kick, like even in the beginning, like the like that. I couldn't do that for the life of me. Like I was like, this is too weird. I can't.
And like to me, I'm like, it doesn't seem that weird, but I don't play drums.
Yeah, exactly. So you got to imagine that on one foot, right? It's like, that's
yeah, no, that'd be weird.
While like just keeping the beat with your other hands, right? So it's just it took me a lot to get used to like that independent thinking, because that's what a lot of drumming is now. It's like, as much as you can like keep a beat, it's also being able to independently control each limb.
Oh, for sure.
Like a lot of drummers that play like polyrhythms and stuff, I'm like, you stay away from me with that witchcraft.
You stay away from me.
Like I had a drummer friend in high school. He still plays drums. He plays the drums in a band called Crownlands, and he would always like practice Tool in the music room and stuff, like practicing his polyrhythms.
That's
and I'm like,
what's his name? And man, I'm gonna feel so bad. I don't remember his name right now. I know who you're talking about.
Yeah, Cody?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, Cody. That's it.
Yeah.
Because I know, I can't remember his name either, the guitar player for Crownlands. I feel
Kevin.
like such a dick right now. Kevin. Because Kevin was like just wonderful human being. He like covered one lesson at the store for him, and he was going to be a teacher. Then he went on tour. No, Cody and Kevin, yeah. Really awesome stuff. Oh, by the way, folks, check out that new Mantra, I believe it is.
Yeah, I'm actually going to their EP release show this Thursday.
Oh, it's this Thursday, folks. So you guys are going to hear this Thursday. As we record this, it is Monday. Dropping some behind the scenes information here.
Oh yeah, I didn't mean to freaking timestamp this.
Oh no, that's okay. It doesn't matter. People know. So, dude, I had podcasts I recorded like 2 months in advance before, and I put them up, and people are like, what are you talking about? And I'm like, just go with it. I'm like editing out all this stuff, like, yeah, we talk about this, and that doesn't make any sense, but anyway. So yeah, this Thursday here, so tonight, check out Crownlands EP release show. I'm not sure where it is or anything, but
it's at the Mustache Club in Oshawa.
He's got all the information here, folks, so definitely check that out.
I'm really excited for it. So
it's a very, very good band. Awesome stuff. So definitely check them out.
Yeah.
Not a metalcore band or metal band. No. Very groovy.
Think kinda, like Black Keys. Like that. That's kind of what I compare them to.
But like way better. Because I ain't got no love for the Black Keys over here. Oh, let me explain.
Okay. There has to be a story behind it.
Here's my whole thing with the Black Keys. Okay, now I say this somewhat with respect because the guitar player and vocalist, he's aight. It's not him. He's okay. He's not really the problem. It's the drummer. I'll get to him in a minute. So it was more the fact that the drummer's just a dick.
Okay.
And what it did was he talked shit about my boys in Nickelback. Let me explain. He came on one time and he said, "Oh, those Nickelback guys, like, you know, the fact it's." I think the quote was, "The fact that Nickelback is the biggest band in the world is like an absolute insult to music." And then of course Chad Kruger responded, "It's so awesome that the drummer from the Black Keys thinks we're the biggest band in the world. Thanks, bro, heart." And I'm like, yes, but I'm like, okay, listen. And he was like making fun of like, oh yeah, like their songwriting is so simple and they write the same stuff all the time. And I'm like, really? And then that album came out. It had I don't remember the song, but just like the songwriting on that album, like it's all good hooky stuff. But I'm like, I could have wrote that, like, gold on the ceiling. This song is called whatever the. And I'm like, and he's I get it. It's got to be the groove. Like I totally understand why he plays like that.
Yeah.
But I'm like, bro, you can't say anything to anyone because all the songs you play on your instrument, to me, sound the same.
Yeah.
I am not a drummer. But it was like literally like the three Black Keys songs that were on the radio had the same beat.
Yeah.
Every single one of them. And I was like, he's talking shit. Really? Huh. Anyway, that's why I don't like the Black Keys, folks.
Story time.
Yeah, just you guys, they know the Outside Pot episode I just put up last week there. The Segway City. That was ridiculous. Every other thing I was like, whoa, blah, blah, blah. Can I just say? So I'm sure there'll be lots of random segues in this, but I'm kind of getting back to Anthony here.
Okay.
The reason we're here. I mean, you did ask, I guess, technically. So
absolutely. Yeah, I needed to know.
I don't like the fact, the last stuff they released is okay. It's better. They're growing, but anyway. Anyway,
welcome to the Black Keys cast, everyone.
Yeah. Oh God, I'm gonna get some flack for that, but that's okay. You know who is I really like now? I didn't for the longest time.
Who?
Of Mice and Men.
Really?
Yes.
Like you like their newer
just
stuff?
Heard their new song. It was on Sirius.
Right.
Very good.
Yeah.
And Gojira. Very good stuff. But anyway, back to what
I would just like to say you've now just alienated all of metalcore.
Yeah.
Because everyone in most, I can't say everyone, but a lot of people are like,
the new of Mice and Men sucks.
Oh yeah, they're like damning
I get
them.
why, because they're a hard rock band now.
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
That song I heard, I'm like, that's a hard rock song.
Yeah,
you know, but not that I didn't like their old stuff. Just I was like,
this is more your taste, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Like I go from Fit for an Autopsy to like
Nickelback,
Maroon 5. Okay, like I'm very, but like. Some of like the newer generic metalcore, quote unquote, say that respectfully.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
I go like, I've heard this before.
Right.
I've heard this before.
Right.
Like that early 2000s metalcore is sick.
Yeah.
And then like kind of for a little while there, I was like, okay, like this is okay, I guess. For the first time you hear it, you're like, yeah, this is great.
And then it just like,
here's another song. Oh, okay, that's really good too. And then another one, and it's like, damn, I see a pattern here.
Right.
So you're gonna just play those open chords and drop C, eh? Just all right, fair enough. And that, you know, I say that respectfully. I'm not talking shit here on the
absolutely.
show.
Like there are a lot of bands I think that way about. Like Mav's gonna kill me for this, but I feel that way about Memphis May Fire.
I thought you were gonna say Fear the Unknown. I'm just joking. I Mav knows I'm joking, but yeah, no, Memphis May Fire. Like I don't like Memphis May Fire that much.
Okay, it's not that I don't like them. Like there's a couple good like albums I like by them.
Yeah,
like,
sure.
The album I think it's called The Sinner, and then the album called Challenger. I love those albums. Like they're really good. And then he released another album after Challenger called Unconditional, and I'm like, this sounds like a B-side.
I've heard that. Yeah,
I'm like, these are B-sides.
But it's
like
not
if you ever play video games and you buy DLC, it's like the DLC to Challenger,
dude.
and it's like, okay, so you give us more, but it's not as good as what you just gave us, and there's not as much to enjoy.
It's like, so let me get this straight. That album was basically the Mass Effect 3 of metalcore. Here's So they had the album first. Here's that, and then okay. So you guys want the real ending? You're gonna have to buy the DLC.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then you buy the DLC, and you go, "That's it?
Yeah,
that's what I get."
Pretty much. Yeah.
I don't know why I just thought of that reference, but
Mav's gonna immediately stop covering for us.
That's fine. Whatever. Just you'll find someone else, someone better. I'm sure. It's called Cody. The other guitar player for the unknown.
Oh yeah.
The better guitar player.
Shit.
Shots fired.
Mav, we love you.
Mav, I love you, dude. I'm just joking. I mean, as far as technical prowess, I think Mav would even agree with me that Cody shreds. But anyway,
you better shut your mouth. You're getting your own grade.
Yeah, I know. I'm gonna get off it here.
All right.
I'll just edit that out later, or I'll leave it in. Who knows? But back to Anthony here. I'm a professional broadcaster here, folks. So, as far as like, I know that obviously, like you are like a metalcore guy, but obviously, I know there's also some more there because I've heard in your playing, like, okay, that's not. Okay, that little thing he just did there, that's not metalcore.
Yeah.
He pulled that from somewhere else. Where did he pull that from? And hearing that you were like in the drum line in that and like things like that, that makes sense to me now. I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
But as far as like more kind of influences to your playing and some drummers who influenced you and your inspirations and that kind of thing.
Okay. I think the primary person that influenced me when I first started was a YouTube drummer. His name was Cobus. He's from South Africa. I think he works for like the Drum Channel now in LA. But like I just started watching his covers at first, and I'm like, damn, he's good, and he makes the drums sound good, and he looks good doing it. Like, and I was like, this is dope. This is cool. I'm just gonna watch it. And like he did one cover of "Let's Get It Started" by Black Eyed Peas just randomly, and I'm like, oh, I can really get into this. Like he's adding just extra stuff,
just a little bit extra.
Yeah, but it wasn't like a lot of people have problems with covers nowadays where they just like basically use them as like elongated solos. But he just knew like where to add stuff and like when, and it sounded amazing. And I'm like, this guy's good. Okay, I want to try to be that. And then from then on, I started watching another YouTube drummer named Luke Holland, and he plays drums for The Word Alive now. And I think he's amazing. Like very technical drummer, but at the same time, like very groove oriented drummer. Mm-hmm. In terms of like musical inspiration, I pull from everything. Like, I don't think there's one thing where I don't pull from except country. Fucking. I'm not going to get into that.
We are not fans of country here on the Harder Show for the most part.
Well, I mean, don't get me wrong. Like, I like old country, like so country that meant something.
What people call outlaw country. That's my shit right there.
There you go.
I love that stuff.
It's badass, right?
He's writing songs about drinking whiskey and shooting your gun. That's country.
Yeah.
Whereas,
today it's now about finding the skinniest, most cleavage showing woman, putting them in your music video, and then throwing in some booze. And it's like, and a truck. I forgot. And a truck.
You gotta just. We shouldn't even get into it.
No, I'm not going to get into it.
10-minute segue.
I don't want to get into it.
But just, I agree.
But yeah, that's what I'm saying. If you want to watch how I feel about country, go and look up Bo Burnham in his new special, Make Happy. He's a comedian, a musical comedian, and he has a segment where he goes off on country music, and it's probably the most accurate thing I've ever seen.
I'm gonna have to. I keep seeing it, and I'm like, I'm gonna have to watch it because I know he's really funny.
Oh, it's perfect. Like he sums it up all fantastically, and I'm like, he got it.
That's my opinion, folks.
Yeah, pretty much.
But as far as the one reason I asked about the influences and inspirations, that's because if you remember, in 6 Feet Under,
oh yeah,
a song that was used as the Harder Show intro for like 30 episodes, I call it the post-chorus section. There's this little drum rims, section. You doing this little rim shot thing, and I'm sitting there listening, and I hear here I am telling you how that goes, and I'm like. I heard it and I went, that I've never heard that in like a metalcore setting before that I can recall anyway. And I go, that's cool.
Yeah.
And like one of the first times you came in, I told you that, and you're just kind of like, oh, cool. Like you noticed that.
Yeah.
Like And I'm like, yeah, like so like it's why I wanted to ask. Because I'm like, man, like there's.
Right. I'm going to blow your mind right now, just real quick. That part. What happened when we wrote Beautiful Calamity? It was pretty much all Taylor and Steven. Even Steven like had most of the drum ideas in his head. He's like, okay, I want you to play this. I'm like, okay, and I added my own extra shit. Now, that rim part, all Steven.
Really?
Yep. I actually was against that.
Really?
As much as I like it, I'm
you're
like
breaking my heart.
I'm sorry. No, like now that I listen to it back, I'm like, okay, that was a good decision. But when we were recording Beautiful Calamity's drums, I actually had to leave for a cottage the next day you're supposed to do it. I'm like, okay, let's just reschedule. And Steven's like, nah, we're getting it done. So he recorded some of the songs, including Beautiful Calamity. I wasn't going to include those rims, but he was like, nah, we're doing it. And I'm like, okay.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, I should.
I keep hearing you talking about it. I'm like, oh man, I'm about to rock his world right now.
Well, this is why I wanted to have you on the podcast. Because I'm like, okay, that's funny. That's hilarious how those things work out. That's like just hearing like, this is like hearing like Santa Claus isn't real. I don't know. That just broke my heart.
I have to tell you something, DJ.
Oh God, what?
It's actually kind of funny. I had a cousin that thought Santa Claus was real until he was like 15.
Really?
I'm like, oh boy.
I mean,
his heart is going to be broken.
I mean, to me, Santa Claus exists. Okay, folks.
No, absolutely.
I don't want to hear it because
no, he was right all along. I just thought I'd just mention it.
Yeah,
and then he had to start having doubts, and I slapped the crap out of him. Like, look,
Santa Claus is real, brother.
He's the real shit, dude.
Yeah, I mean, is there one Santa Claus? I don't think so. I think
we're going like deep.
I think he's got like a crew of people that help him out. But that is a conversation. I'll have you on another time to talk conspiracy theories.
Okay. Towards Christmas time, we're going over the Santa Claus conspiracy.
Dude, this is all over the place here. So I apologize, but just I'm in the mood to talk. Anytime I'm around you, we always have such a good conversation.
I know it kind of goes off on weird tangents, but I really like it.
Yeah. Well, that's why I know people know me at this point. I mean, this is going to be episode 53. So I mean, damn, like at this point, if you guys haven't figured out that this
wait, have you been doing one for every week?
Yeah, twice a week.
Twice a week.
I've been doing this podcast twice a week, except for 2 weeks ago.
So that means you're over a year in now, eh? Because there's 52 weeks in a year. You're over a year in.
Not yet, no. I started in February. It's just two a week.
Oh, 2 a week.
Yeah, two a week.
Well, now I sound like some stupid.
No.
Okay.
You thought it was every? No, I started it in February.
Oh,
couldn't remember the date.
Why does it feel like so long then? I'm like, man, DJ's been doing this for a long time and I love it.
It feels like it's been a long time.
Oh, okay.
In a good way.
Right.
Because it's, doing them twice a week. 1 week, it's a lot of, like last week and this week.
Yeah.
This has not worked for me. Or even, not that the podcast is work. You guys know what I meant. But if I have to sit down and do them like alone about something, that's when it's like, okay, this is like, I got to really like focus and, whereas doing like this with you or doing the one last week without Sean, it's like, that's not effort. That's just hanging out. And then I got to do some editing after, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
But, yeah, no, it's, but I know you have been listening pretty much from the beginning. So I appreciate that. So thank you.
It's not a problem. Not a problem.
So we're segueing around here.
Where were we anyways?
We're talking about a whole bunch of stuff. I don't even remember what the question I asked you was, but this is what the podcast
we were
is all
on about influences and stuff. But
we were talking about Santa Claus. No, I was kidding. No, we were talking about the influences.
Santa Claus was an inside job.
Oh, God.
All right. But anyways, influences, everything. Go.
Everything. Absolutely everything.
Except shitty-ass country music.
No country
Fuck
up
you,
in here.
Brad Paisley.
See, now he's one of the okay ones, though. He's okay.
Yeah?
Some of his stuff is all right. Sorry, no, I'm thinking of Jason Aldean. Sorry. Jason Aldean's okay.
Back to my original statement. Fuck you, Brad Paisley.
Brad Paisley's a Turk. If you guys couldn't tell, this is not a family-friendly episode of The Hotter Show. As I said in the intro. Anyway, so getting back on.
Sorry, Brad. I'll go on tour with you anytime.
Yeah. Now listen. here's my tour package.
Okay. Go.
Out of My League.
Yep.
Nickelback.
Okay.
A reuniting Creed.
Interesting.
Who else can I throw in there? Britney Spears.
Excellent.
And Jason Aldean.
Oh, thank God.
That's a really good package right there. I think that's a license.
Did you see the vocalist of Creed got up on stage with A Day to Remember?
I didn't see that.
No? Yeah. He got up on stage when they did the Alternative Press Music Awards, and he got up on stage with A Day to Remember and sang.
Because, I mean, I love
Creed.
I will fist fight people over Creed. There's like 4 bands that I will literally fist fight over. Creed, mainly because I love Scott Stapp. Like, he can do no wrong in my eyes. I love that man.
Right.
Hatebreed. Mm-hmm. I will fight over Hatebreed. Okay, and I've almost proven it more than once. Lamb of God and Alice in Chains. Okay. And out of my league.
Like, so that one's like a small like scrap.
Yeah, so if anyone talks crap about out of my league, it's what, brother? Step up. But no, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah, it's keeping him. It's a really neat video to watch. It's like, that's
what song did they do?
Oh God, don't. Oh,
just some random.
No, it's in A Day to Remember song. I know that.
And he sang it with them.
Yeah, and
interesting. So that means he literally learned it to sing it with them. I guess.
I think I don't remember if it was that or if A Day to Remember covered a Creed song. I can't remember for the life of me right now. But I know there's tons of videos of it.
Interesting.
We'll watch it after. We'll watch
it after. They must have covered a Creed song. That's crazy. I don't know. Anyway, but just I'm glad he's back.
We'll keep going. I'm going to look it up in the meantime. We'll keep going though.
Yeah, but no, I'm glad he got everything under control again there, because that was scary for a little while. His and Sam, my girlfriend Sam, as you guys know, we were watching the couples therapy he was on with his wife, and there was some interesting stuff that happened during that. So I was a little worried for him for a little while, but he seems to be okay now. So
good. Okay.
So you found that video.
There's one that they played Higher.
So that makes sense now.
And they also apparently sang one of A Day to Remember's songs too. I can't see where it is. But yeah, so they sang Higher and then apparently did another A Day to Remember song.
Well, right on. That's cool. That's good for A Day to Remember and good for Scott Stapp, because I mean, singing a song with a dude of his caliber, people say whatever they want about him, but that's still Scott. Do you have a diamond record? Probably not. Have you sold out literally millions of venues? No. Have you sold like trillions of records? No. That dude literally laughs at you in a pile of money. Like, absolutely he does. Or he, calls police stations all messed up. But and I say that that was not a joke. I'm being anyway.
You're just bringing up stuff.
Yeah, I'm just bringing up stuff because, like I said, I love Scott Stapp and all that kind of stuff, and that's cool. The things I've learned so far on this podcast with you is interesting. Not just like about you or out of my league, but like random stuff.
I know, right?
This is great. So you mentioned earlier you were gonna you're gonna play the clarinet.
Oh yeah.
Was there any other instruments you like wanted to learn, or you kind of always wanted to play and you've never really gotten the chance? Or
I play a bit of acoustic. I brought in my acoustic once for you to set up. I don't know if you
remember that. Okay. I don't remember what kind of guitar it was, which is weird.
It was an Art Lutherie.
That's right. Oh man.
Oh yeah, and someone when I went in and you said someone made an offer on my guitar, and I'm like,
I remember. I don't remember like the color. Was it a different color? Or was it natural?
It was natural.
Yeah. Okay. I remember the guitar now. I couldn't remember the color of it. But
yeah.
I remember someone was literally like, "That's a nice guitar." Because anytime I was setting up a guitar, someone would make an offer on it. Doesn't matter what it was. So, I started Lutherie. How much? Well, it's not for sale. Oh, come on, brother. I'm like, no, like I don't own it. Let's do business. What do you think this is? Like, Anthony. I sold your guitar.
Like, you get none of the profits.
Yeah, I'll give you 10%, brother. I'll cut you in. Like, just.
Unless that guitar sold for $30,000, nope.
yeah. No, that's just. I always find that funny. It's funny to remember that because I remember the guy too. Like he always used to do that. He'd come in and make offers on guitars.
Nice.
He'd just be like, "Come on, let's do business." I'm like, "Who are you? Go away."
I think he just watched from the window and he's like, "All right, he's got a new guitar and let's book his day up."
Every time that guy never bought a damn thing. He just let's do business. Is that guitar on sale for this much? So that's $400 less than what it's up for. Let's do business. What? Anyway.
Sounds like my dad.
Sounds like my dad.
He's the kind of guy that goes places like, all right, I'm going to get a bunch of shit. You're going to give me a deal. Cool.
Yeah.
Like, he helped me out when I bought my new drum kit and I had to buy a bunch of extra stuff. He's like, okay.
So you went to McQuaid though, right?
No, we went to a shop called Steve's Music in Toronto.
So that's okay, fine. That's still a...
Yeah.
They have a lot more money than I did. So that's okay. They were a bigger music store than Gigs, so it's okay to do that there.
And they were basically like, all right, here, we're going to buy this drum kit, a couple stands, yada, yada, yada. You're going to give it all to us for X amount. And they're like, okay.
There's some people, like, if there's one thing I learned very quickly, it was that there are some guys you're not going to be able to talk down.
Oh, absolutely.
So either you have to just say no or yes and just make the decision and go with it.
Right.
9 times out of 10 I said no because they were ridiculous.
Oh,
but, I have hours of stories. Anyway, I apologize, guys, if you guys wanted a more professional done podcast with Anthony here.
Why'd you show up here anyways? Yeah, if you come for a professional podcast.
Yeah, no, this is not what I yeah. Anyway, so something kind of funny I wanted to ask you. If you could go back right now and talk to yourself as far as when you started drumming, is there anything you'd say to yourself right now, like, hey, don't do this or do this, it's easier?
I don't know. That's an interesting question because, like, of course there are, like, some things I would probably teach myself. I'm like, okay,
for sure.
like, put your hand here, hit this a certain way. But then at the same time, if I also didn't do that, I wouldn't have learned whatsoever. Like, up until a year ago, I didn't know how to do, like, proper rim shots on the snare, like on the kit snare, which was not a good thing because using those rim shots brings up a lot of volume, especially for, like, actually hearing the snare. Like, every snare shot that you pretty much have to do rim shot, and I never like could get it down properly even while I was playing, but like now I can, so it's all good. But I think it took me that time to, like, actually figure out why that was important and stuff like that. So I don't think I would ever go back and, like, change that. I might tell myself to say fuck the guitar, get more drums earlier on, but because I got my guitar when I was in, like, the 6th grade, and I didn't get my drum solo when I was in the 9th grade.
Yeah, so that's crazy.
So yeah, I might have just told my grade 6-year-old self, like, snap out of it, get some goddamn drums in your life.
So you as far as guitar, like, do you still, obviously you still play a little bit?
Yeah, once in a while, yeah.
So you're like a chord guy, or do you actually have a little bit of knowledge? Or
no, I'm the guy that plays Smoke on the Water whenever he can.
I was gonna say, if you play Wonderwall, I'll hand you my guitar right now. You can play that.
Frig, what's my favorite song to play? Like, I play Hey There Delilah once in a blue moon.
There you go. That's a solid tune right there.
It is. It's a good song.
I did not know. This is the most random thing I'm ever going to say on the podcast. I did not know that song.
Really?
I always just think it was like a song about, like, the dude's girlfriend or whatever, right?
Right.
It's about, like, a freaking, like, Olympic sprinter.
What?
Yeah. Like, he, like, met this Olympic sprinter and then wrote this song, like, the next day. And, like, I remember her name, Delilah something or other. She's like a famous Olympic sprinter. Amazing. So she's either a sprinter or a long distance runner. I can't remember. But, like, I was just like, here I am, like, thinking this song has all this beautiful meaning. And, like, sure, maybe it has meaning, I guess. But I'm like, really? That's just random.
My respect for the song's gone down a little bit. No, I'm kidding. Yeah. I still love the song.
No, it's like I love the song.
I think he probably wrote it for a double meaning. Like,
I'm sure, yeah.
Like, if you're bringing that up now, I'm like, no. In my head, that's always been about, like, a weird long distance relationship thing.
Yeah,
I think he definitely wrote it as a double meaning.
Oh, probably.
So
it's just funny. I read that and I was like, really? Because, like, I dive into that stuff. Like, I love like when Dom was on, that was like, I asked him everything about every song. I was like, explain every lyric to me on every song. Because I'm like, I love that shit. Like, I like, you know, like, he would say, oh, well, this song's open to interpretation. And that's awesome. But for me, I'm like, I need to know what you wrote the song about.
Right.
So I just thought that was funny. So when your parents bought you that drum kit, what exactly was the kit? Do you remember what?
It was a Pearl kit, a Pearl Target series. It was like blue, like weird kind of shiny wrap.
Decent beginners.
Yeah, it was a decent beginning kit. Like not well, no, it actually was. It was actually a nice kit. Like they went to McQuaid and like, okay, what's a good beginner kit? And they're like, here's
they're like as far as like the quote unquote entry level Pearl stuff, because we were a Pearl dealer.
Yeah,
a lot of people didn't know we sold drums. Like 1 or 2 drum sets, but we sold them. The Target stuff is really good. Like for beginners
solid
or even
drums.
more than that.
I used those toms up until basically I got a new kit because they're just solid toms. Like they're just solid drums in general.
Which I was going to ask, because I know you have that one really nice white kit.
Yeah, that's the one I have now.
Yeah, and is it a Gretsch?
Yeah, it's Gretsch Renowned Maple.
That's a really nice kit.
I love it.
I drooled because like I'm not a drum guy. I wish in another life I'd be a drummer.
Right.
Because I love drumming.
Right.
And like I can't play worth a damn, but I saw that kit and I went, damn, that's a really nice kit.
Oh, dude, I love it. I love it so much. Like when I went drum shopping, I looked at all the kits. I'm like I kept walking back and forth because it was just a wall of them, and I'm like, that's the one that caught my eye, and I'm like, maybe I should go for ones that like are a little more detailed, a little cooler. But every time I walk back, my eyes would just stick to it, and I'm like, that's it. That's the one.
And it just like suits you. Like you see it, and you're like, yeah, like that's Anthony's kit.
Yeah, exactly. Like I always thought I wanted something like some cool designs, like not like flames and shit. That's just
but I know what you mean though, like a cool like airbrushed something.
Yeah, but then I was like, you know what? Just a solid, like good looking, simple kit. That's like all I wanted. And I'm like, that's it. That's the one.
Yeah, it doesn't take away from anything. Like I find if some kits like look like really really flashy.
Yeah.
So it's like when you're playing drums, like I'm more focused on what you're doing.
Exactly.
And you're like, because like you're at the point now where like you have some actual showmanship when you're playing drums.
Right.
Some guys, they just kind of sit there and I'm keeping a beat, leave me alone.
Which, isn't a problem.
Oh, no, not at all. Like, not everyone can be, a freaking like Shannon Larkin or anything. Not everyone can be Shots fired at Anthony for all drummers in the world.
I'm totally joking.
Not everyone can be Ed from Beyond the Wall.
If you look like shit but can still play well, it's fine.
Exactly, but not everyone can be Ed from Beyond the Wall.
Yeah,
shout out to Ed. I still remember.
I love watching him drum. Just how smiley he is. He's like, yeah.
I'm just here to have fun.
Out,
just rocking out. Because we're on that topic, I was going to ask you a little bit later, but the Battle of the Bands,
right?
We were both there,
yep, as
judges this past year.
Mm-hmm.
How was that for you? Because I know I've talked about it on the podcast, so I'm not going to get into it myself.
Right. It was an interesting experience. You know what I mean? I've never had to sit there and critique other bands. I always sit there at shows, kind of like watching people and be like, okay, I like that or I didn't like that, but I've never had to sit down and write down on a piece of paper what I did and didn't like, because I'm like, am I sounding like an asshole? Is that what I am now?
Am I an asshole now?
It was, but I guess it was kind of easier for me in a sense because I knew what good showmanship was and what it felt like. When freaking what's their name? We Are X's vocalist came and serenaded me.
That was awesome.
I was crying laughing, but I'm like I thought it was hilarious and it was cool, but I'm like, I can't give you any extra points for that. I don't know if that's what you're going for.
Yeah, no, and knowing Lee, I shouldn't say I know the guy, but I, I've talked to him a couple times on Facebook. I know he's a good dude.
He is a good guy.
He wasn't doing that to
suck
up. He was just doing it to be entertaining because he's literally a showman.
He is.
And talented as hell too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Shout out to Lee.
He actually organized our show in Whippy. He works at the music scene there.
Oh, cool.
So he set that whole show up. It was us, Fear the Unknown, Crane, and Death by Carl, which was X-Wills and Bishops.
Yes. Yeah, I know. I'm going to have those guys on the podcast too, hopefully.
So
that'll be an interesting podcast.
It would, actually. But yeah, anyways, Battle of the Bands, it was weird. It was a weird feeling, knowing actual things are on the line depending on what I think.
Yeah.
But it kind of helped that all of us were on the same page. We all understood.
Thank God.
Oh yeah, if there was one outlier, I would have gotten too stressed. I'm just deal with it yourselves.
Yeah, I mean, you were sitting next to me. You guys know I think it was episode 31 was the Battle of the Bands kind of review, I guess. And I mean, I said it pretty bluntly. I'm like, yeah, I'm never doing that again. That stressed me. I mean, you were sitting next to me the whole night, and I'm just like, dude, these guys were awesome. I can't critique this. Like, I am not of the, who the hell am I?
Right.
To say, yes, you guys weren't, there wasn't enough showmanship here.
Right.
So I found that hard. I was like, no. Like, because I like everything. I just really tried to, except for the Black Keys. And I'm like, especially like local bands. Like, I like everyone. Like, everyone who played that night, I was like, everyone was good.
Yeah,
like everyone had their own stakes to win.
Yeah, like there wasn't a single band that I'm like, you should just put it away.
Well, there was one band that were terrible.
Yeah,
that was Fear of the Unknown. But the rest of the bands were great.
No, absolutely not. They only got second place because they paid me.
Exactly, they paid me too.
Yeah,
I didn't actually get the money, but they said they would.
Oh, neither did I. Well, that's Mav for
buggers. Freaking Mav. God damn it, Mav. Come on, dude. Help us out.
Oh my god. What is just with us ripping on Mav?
Everyone rips on Mav. When he was my co-op, can I just say, when Mav was my co-op at the store,
yeah.
Oh my lord, every chance I got, I tore him to shreds. And he got it.
Yeah.
Like, he got it right away, because like he knew. I'm like, I got love for the guy. I'm never gonna actually legit say a bad thing about Mav ever.
Right.
Like, when I say things like this, folks, you guys know I'm joking. I never have a bad thing to say about them or Fear the Unknown as a whole.
Right.
All good dudes. Shout out to them.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Love their stuff. Waiting for that freaking record, guys. Come on. Come at me with that.
You're in the making.
Exclusive. Exclusive track for the auto show. Excuse me, God. Got that cough there. But like when he was my co-op, it was brutal. Yeah. It was just brutal. Oh, poor guy, but
Dom probably never told you about it, but
oh god,
we went to a show. Me, Dom, and Mav. We went to go see August Burns Red last December, and it was an awesome show. Yada yada yada. But on the way back, I don't know if it was because he was exhausted or whoever, but Dom just decided that was the night. I was driving, by the way. I was driving, and Dom just looked at me from the passenger side. I'm like, that was the day he decided to roast me. Like,
Dom roast you?
Oh yeah.
Oh god.
For a solid 20 minutes, heading straight home. I think it was probably longer than 20 minutes, but Mav recorded this on his phone for 20 minutes straight of Dom laying into me like no one else has ever laid into me before.
And he didn't mention that.
Oh, he of course meant it out of like complete joke.
Oh, no, of course. Yeah, no,
like after we dropped off Mav and everything, he looked at me. He's like, dude, I am so sorry. I just went off on you. Like,
there's like fake tears.
Oh, he felt legitimately bad. He's like, dude, I said a lot of shit right there that like would have hurt a lot of people's feelings. I'm like, because I know you and whatever you say,
I know you're joking.
It's a complete joke. Not in, like, it's whatever.
I mean, I'm sure he wasn't like, your beard sucks. Like, I'm sure it was.
Oh yeah,
a lot worse. Stuff that cannot be repeated on the podcast.
Exactly. Like, I'm not going to bring up anything he said, but immediately after he was done, he's like, I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry to say, because I see on like the Instagram and stuff, like he just roasts people.
Oh, absolutely.
And like I've never seen that side of him, so I'm like, really, Dom? And like Matt would always tell him, like, you should hear Dom roast people because he's ruthless. And I'm like, really?
Oh yeah.
Like, even when he was here, he was so like respectful and polite and everything. I'm like, really? This is the dude that screams at me and like melts my soul, really? But like that's crazy to hear. So,
it's freaking
crazy. Is that recording ever going to hear the light of day?
Probably not.
Too brutal.
I listened to it for the first time since it happened like a couple days ago, and I'm like, this is never leaving our group of friends here.
That's brutal. That's brutal. The roast.
Yeah.
Of Anthony.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you now, because I think I've talked about it on the podcast before, but I'm thinking way ahead here, and this is just speculation, because we've already gone off on so many goddamn segues. We're already an hour in. We're all over the place here.
Oh yeah.
So it is what it is. But I'm thinking about stuff I can do for episode 100.
Okay.
Because everyone's like, yo, you got to do like another live cast, and I'm like, the live casts are sick. They're so much fun. But I'm like, I want to do those more often. I want to wait that long.
Right.
So I'm like, what are I going to do for episode 100? I got to do something big.
Are we doing the roast of TJ?
I've been thinking.
Are we doing the roast of TJ?
Maybe I'll get like everyone who's been a guest on the podcast, all my buddies, and just sit everyone down and say, okay, listen, guys. You guys are going to tear me to shreds.
Yes.
But I have to have some kind of boundaries.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, for example, Sam is off limits.
Yep.
And when says anything about Sam, it's on. I would almost think, okay, you guys are going to write it all down, what you're going to say. At least some of it.
Yeah.
And you're going to show me ahead of time only so that I can, okay, like, no fat jokes. Like, come on.
Oh, no.
Like, got to be more creative than that. You know what I mean? But, like, I said I was going to do it. And, like, get, like, you and friggin' Dom, obviously, because, like, I hear how, like, good he is. And I'm like, yo, he would, I can only imagine. And, like, you know, get someone like Mav, I know, because he knows me, like, so well, too. Like, he just know what to say. And, like, all the guys in my league, just, like, have all you just, like, do, like, even, like, 3 or 4 minutes each.
Yeah.
And just tear me to shreds.
Right.
And then I only get one rebuttal for each of you, just to say one thing.
Well, no, have you watched like roast on Comedy Central or whatever?
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, I could probably just follow like the same setup. Like, we'll roast like each other first, like dig into each other, and then we'll like go straight for you.
And I mean, make it like just brutal. Like,
we're going straight for the jugular.
Oh yeah, like just you know, because I think it was because like my buddy Brandon, producer of the Hotter Show, Brandon Bowden, I just have to say who because I know like 30 Brandons.
Right.
Like the guy's like my best friend. So like he would know what to say to make me mad.
Right.
Like to the point where I'd react to it. And I'd be like it'd be funny. And like we record it. We like set up somewhere. I don't know. I'd have to like a hall or something. This would be because I'm like, do we have an audience there? And like all this, I'm thinking of all this stuff. I'm like, you know, but I'm like, you know, even if it's just us, and it was the roast on the range. Like there was like the roast of Zach Wilde. Have you seen that?
Yeah.
Oh, dude. So good. Stone Cold sends in a video and he's like, "Oh, gotta wash your goddamn armpits, you smelly Viking." You know, you gotta get this thing. It's called a toothbrush. Now this miraculous device here, you put this friggin' gimmick on it, toothpaste, you shove it in there, and you clean your gums, you greasy bastard. Like just, and it's like it's just funny. Like I'm just like, but it's like still like just clean enough.
Yeah.
But I'm like, do I do it clean? Do I just go filthy? Like what?
I mean, what we could do is we can kind of like, instead of sending everything to you just so we can save the surprise, we can like send it to each other. But then I think of that and I'm like, it'd be so funny. We can send it to each other kind of thing, and we can like mandate ourselves. We're just like, okay, like we know our boundaries.
This is maybe a little much.
Yeah, and if we like see something, we're just like, no.
I'd probably just leave Brandon in charge of it. Yeah. I'd just be like I wouldn't trust you guys. It's just like, okay, you know, nothing about this or nothing about this. And it's like, let's just, you know, how the hell does TJ have a podcast? Like, just whatever. But I think that'd be funny. I'm going to bring it up with everyone I have on the podcast now because I think I picture it. I think it was Sam. She's just like, that'd never work. I'm like, why? Because you get so mad. But that's why it'd be funny. She's like, you would not talk to any of those people for like a week afterwards because like you'd be so butthurt. I'm like, but it'd be funny because I'd go up there, I'd be like, okay, all right, none of you guys are my friends anymore. And like run off. You guys aren't invited to my birthday party.
Well, that's the whole thing, right? You have to go into it knowing exactly what
I'm going to get torn to shreds.
Yeah, just go in knowing you're going to get completely destroyed by everyone, but it's out of all fun. Like none of us would mean it. All of us are just
I mean, it's like, and then I was like, you know, the final roaster would have to be Sam.
Oh my god, it's like a guest roaster.
Yeah,
oh my
god. I'd just be like, okay, Sam's gonna roast TJ, and I'd be like, oh shit, because like she'd just go like she'd be ruthless. Like everyone would be ruthless who would do it, but she'd just be like right for the jugular because she would know, and she'd mess with my head. It'd be so good. It'd be so funny. And it's just something funny that I thought you brought up Dom roasting you. I'm like, yo, like that's my idea.
That'd be amazing.
Either episode 100 or like my next birthday or something like that.
Yeah.
Like just roast, like just tear me to shreds, and I'll just sit there and laugh. As long as it makes me laugh, we're cool. If it doesn't make me laugh, I'll just be like, that's not funny. So anyway, that's my roast. I just wanted to talk.
How long have we been going?
We've been going for an hour at this point. All right, so lots of random fun segues and that kind of thing, but kind of getting into the meat and potatoes here.
Oh God!
Of what we are here. I'm here to talk to you about a whole bunch of stuff, but kind of getting into out of my league a little more in depth, which people are gonna laugh. They're gonna be like, "Have you even like really talked about like out of my league that much?" Whatever. So you kind of mentioned earlier that like you met Taylor first and that. So you were friends with the guys kind of before you joined the band. Is that safe to say? Or
yes, I would say that about. Well, I would probably say that about Taylor mostly, but Steven, yes, to a certain degree, and then Ali and Dom, sort of. Like, I met Steven mostly in, like, the 11th, 12th grade. Like, that's when we started actually talking, because he was in the drumline, he was in the band, and we just started talking through there, and eventually we got mutual friends and stuff like that. Ali, it's actually interesting, because Ali and Dom are 3 years younger than me, right?
I always forget that.
When I was in the 11th grade, I was a French immersion kid in high school.
Oh, okay.
And I had to take a French immersion, like, one period co-op thing. I'm like, okay, cool. I took it in a grade 8 class that was actually in, like, the top of the high school because one of the public schools was getting shut down, and they had to move the grade 7 and 8s over to the high school top floor. And I was the helper in his grade 8 class. His grade 8 French class. So I had already known him because his sister is the same age as me, so I kind of knew of his existence.
Okay.
But that's when I actually like met him, and he's always been weird.
Which one, Ali?
Ali.
Yeah, I remember Ali like because he took lessons at the store for like a very short period of time. Right. He comes in. Hey, what's going on?
Yeah,
with his bass, and like now, like I'm like, dude, it's crazy how far he's come. But.
Oh man, there's a story I want to tell. I don't know if he'd get mad at me for saying it on the podcast.
Tell it anyway.
All right,
I'll tell you what.
Okay.
Tell me the story.
Yeah.
Ask him if he's cool with it, and I'll edit it if he wants me to.
Okay. Yeah, I will. So this is just FYI. This is a somewhat not safe for work story.
Yeah. No. That
happened while he was in this grade 8 class.
Oh God.
So what was basically happening was I was walking around. The teacher had asked me to walk around and check on all the students. I'm like, okay, cool. So I walk around and I notice him and like it was another girl and a guy with him on his laptop. And as I walked by, they kind of looked at me and like closed their laptop of it. I'm like, oh God, oh no. And as I got closer, like I could see them like backspacing something and typing something else in. I'm like, oh no, what am I gonna find? So they were just on Google Translate looking up some words, and I'm like, do I have to? I reach over, I click the back button. They were looking for the French translation to pussy lips. What? And I just looked at them and I went, just don't do that again. Like,
guys, really?
You're in grade 8. You're in class. There should be better things to do.
There's a lot better words to look up.
Yeah.
like anal leakage.
Exactly, right? Yeah, you have so many other things to look at, and you're like, nah, this is the one today.
This is the one today.
And I just look at them like with the most disappointed face. I'm like, just don't do it again.
Guys,
I'm not going to tell the teacher, but just don't be idiots. Come on, man.
Don't do that. I hated being a peer helper.
Yeah.
I hated it.
See, I actually liked it. I liked working with the kids and basically like getting to act like kind of responsible, but at the same time being lenient, just like,
oh yeah, being the cool one.
Yeah, being like, just stop being an idiot, just please.
Yeah, because I was the cool peer helper.
Yeah,
but it was in a geography class.
Oh, okay.
Now, I didn't know geography that well, so they like asked me to help, and I'll be like, yes, blah 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 blah.
Right.
I'm like, I think that's wrong. I'm like, you're gonna eat those chips over there in class. That's fine, So I just BS my way through that class.
Right.
But it was always pain in the ass.
But anyways, that's how I met Ali.
Oh, right on. So kind of talking about how I met Ali in that. As far as
did I talk about Dom?
No, actually.
Okay. Okay. I met Dom at a practice once. That was literally it. Like Ali was like, okay, I got this guy. We're like, bring him in.
I got this guy, and he's
I think good. Dom told the story. He pretty much showed up and did the best he could. And we're like, fuck it, you're in.
You're in, buddy.
He's like, yeah.
You're not the worst.
That was literally the day I met him. Like the day he came in. Like I'd never met him before. Like Ali just said, "This is Dom." I'm like, hey, Dom. And now I love the kid. I love them all. I fucking love them all.
Oh, for sure. It's all solid individuals in that band.
Absolutely.
So I was going to ask you how you joined. But you did kind of touch on it a little bit earlier.
Yeah. Well, I could tell you like how the band actually even got started, like the very foundations of it. So what ended up happening was it was the summer of, I think, between grade 11 and 12, something like that, I think. And Steven had asked me if I wanted to like jam around at his house, because at his house he had like guitars and basses and drums and all that shit. And I'm like, okay, cool. So it ended up being me, Steven, and Gord, who's the bassist of Crane.
Oh, interesting.
He was the original bassist.
Awesome bassist.
Yeah, absolutely awesome. He's a great guy. And we basically started playing like just fucking System of a Down. Like we just covered some System of a Down for a long time. And then Taylor showed up and we started trying to teach him some shit. And he didn't like that. So he started like influencing us to write shit. Like we came up with the city with him involved and everything.
Oh, cool.
There's an early video on YouTube of us jamming to a very early version of the city. Gord's there and everything. Like he was playing.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. Like Gord was in the band before.
It is like deep in there. I don't even think it has like a proper name. But yeah.
Jam 0172.
Pretty much. Like I think we only made it because we had a guy that wanted. We were basically looking for vocalists on Kijiji at one point.
Oh yeah, doing the Kijiji, those are always fun.
Oh yeah. So one guy was like asked, and we sent him a video, and he's like, "Oh, I can't do that." And we're like, "That's fine, whatever."
I can't do that. I'm 47.
But yeah, so yeah, that's pretty much how like the band actually like got started, like just us four jamming, and then Taylor wanted to play like more pop punky stuff or metalcore stuff, and Gore was like, I'm not really into that. So he kind of left. I forget who brought Ali in. I think it might have been Steven or Taylor that was like, hey, I know this guy plays bass. I'm like, okay, cool. And then I saw him like, I know you. And then, yeah, that's how that got started. And then Calvin came along, did vocals for us for a bit, wrote a bunch of lyrics. And yeah, like that's kind of, I was there from the very beginning, basically.
One of the OG members of OOML.
Yeah, like I guess the only two OG members left are me and Steven.
Damn.
Because Ali wasn't even OG.
Technically, no, that'd be good. I didn't know that. Like, Gord was in the original incarnation.
Oh, yeah.
I'm going to have Gord on the podcast at some point. Shout out to Gord.
Oh, absolutely. Shout out to Gord.
That's a good dude. And anytime he came in the store, we have had a nice chat. But so I was going to ask about the first jam, but you did kind of touch on that. So do you remember the first jam you did as the kind of like the Beautiful Calamity lineup?
Okay.
Which to me, like, I'm glad I know the history in that more, like the original lineup in that, because I think on Dom's episode I was like, oh, like the lineup no one cares about.
Right.
And I said that, and I didn't mean that in quite the disrespectful way it came out.
Oh, absolutely.
But just, it's cool. But like as far as the lineup that like I thought was the original lineup, I didn't know any better.
Absolutely.
Meaning Dom and then you guys.
Mm-hmm. So. Wait, what was the question?
That's the first kind of like the first jam you had.
Oh, the first jam.
That the first couple, maybe not the first time that Dom came in, because obviously it was his kind of tryout.
Like the first like solid.
Yeah, practice. The first real solid jam session.
I don't know, man. Jeez, it's so freaking long ago. I do remember The City was the first thing we ever wrote. Mm-hmm. That's the first thing I remember. That we were just jamming, and eventually someone played that riff, or someone came up with something like that, and we're like, what was that? And he was like, oh. Played it again. We're like, yeah, that's it. And just basically just kind of went from there. Like, it's hard to remember the exact like first jam, like, because we practice in a bunch of different places. Like, we've been from Steven's basement to Taylor's basement to Lee's basement to Dom's basement. All basements.
Everyone's basements. We've been there,
except my basement. Oddly enough.
Interesting.
But I could barely remember practicing at Steven's, because that's like the original place we started. But I barely remember it at this point. Like, I remember Taylor's a lot because he set it up like a stage almost, so we could get our stage presence down.
Yeah.
He like set it up so like we were all facing one way, like kind of, like basically a stage, and he set up lights and shit just so we could practice doing
that's
all
cool,
that.
Though. They do all that.
We moved to Ali's because Taylor's mom was basically like, "Nah, you gotta get out."
You gotta get out.
We're like, all right, that's fine.
None of that crap.
Ali's house maybe lasted 2 months. We got there. We actually wrote "Witness the End" there.
I am going to ask about all that.
Okay,
we'll get to that.
All right. That's just a quick tip.
Yeah, we'll get to that though in a minute.
And then we moved to Dom's basement, and that's where we wrote "Resented" and everything. So
cool.
Yeah,
well, that's very cool. And we're definitely getting to Resented a little bit.
Oh yeah.
But so where are you guys jamming now?
Still at Dom's house. His parents have been going strong with us.
Well,
they tolerate us. It's been almost like 2 years now since we've been jamming there.
Like, you can't blame parents.
Oh, absolutely not.
Especially playing like metal and that. It's like you gotta get. It's like you guys have to not do this anymore.
No,
it's like I get it.
Yeah, like, and we don't practice like that often to where it'd be like, okay, you guys have to go at this point.
Yeah.
Like, we maybe practice like once or twice every couple weeks, like just to keep everything solid.
Keep it all tight.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then it helps that they enjoy our music to an extent. Mm-hmm. Like Recover, Dom's mom freaks out about all the time.
Yeah,
she actually tried to sell her she's a teacher. She's tried to sell her class our CDs.
Really?
Oh yeah, she's like,
what grade? Like,
oh, young man, like 3rd grade,
damn.
I think.
I could see that backfiring.
Yeah, but apparently it went well. She sold like 3 CDs. I'm like, yeah,
all right. Well, there you go.
But yeah, they're super supportive of us and everything. So
that's because I mean that recover. I mean, I've talked about it lots in the podcast before,
right.
but I did you listen to Dom's podcast, right?
Absolutely.
So you heard the story of,
yeah,
I was driving by gigs,
yep,
and I heard it and I had to pull over because I was like crying. I'm like, what is my life right now? Like, let it go. And I'm like, oh my god. Anyway, whatever. It's emotional. But that's cool though. You guys got that nice jam space. If there's one thing that I can say, not having a place to really solidly jam,
right,
is not good for bands.
Absolutely not.
Or the writing process.
Exactly.
But so, kind of talked a little bit about joining the band and all that kind of thing. Do you remember the first, I guess, gig that you guys played together? Like as far as the first gig and then maybe the first like serious gig.
Okay. Well, in terms of that, I mean, our first like quote unquote gig was the 2013 Battle of the Bands when we had Calvin as the vocalist, and like I remember that day I was probably the most nervous I've ever been.
Yeah.
Like just out of my mind nervous. Like I was walking around talking to random people, like calm my nerves. I'm like, I'm about to play. Like, holy shit, this is like my first time on stage with my band, and people are gonna judge us.
That's a lot of pressure for your first performance, though.
Oh, absolutely, it was. Pressure. It was so bad. Like,
you guys didn't have a lot of stage presence.
I was shaking. Like, it was awful, man. Like, horrible. But like after it was done, I felt so good. I was like, okay, we're good. We did okay. I mean, we played to what I feel like was our best. But then I watched that performance back, and I'm like, that's probably the cringiest thing I've ever been a part of my entire life.
That's the cringiest thing I've ever been a part of.
It was awful. I'm like, oh man, wow. Like we thought that was good at one point. Like, oh my.
But it's looking back on it, the cringiest thing I've ever been a part of.
Oh, absolutely it was.
Can I just say this?
Yeah.
The cringiest thing I've ever been a part of, personally.
Okay.
One of them, it actually does involve you, which is interesting. It was me personally, what I did. I look back and I go, what was even happening? Was the Battle of the Bands when we were up announcing the who placed in the winners and stuff, and I announced who won.
Yeah.
The second that I had all this thing I was going to say, I was going to be all energetic and like had all this stuff I was going to say, and then Chris hands me the microphone and I put it up to my lips and I had nothing to say, and I went, "All right, guys, so let's all give all the bands another round of applause, seriously, because everyone is so good tonight." Yeah, okay. Everyone's kind of like they just clapped, and I was like, "Yeah, okay, all right." And then all I hear is DJ, nothing. I'm like, okay, so once again, guys, it was so awesome. I mean, this was seriously like the worst like time ever to judge this. And there's just so many good bands. I mean, all of you deserve to win in my eyes. You know, again, give yourselves all a round of applause. I don't remember how much I said it, but I was like, yes, and the winners, beyond the wall, hell yeah. And like afterwards, Chris,
I don't remember it exactly like that, but
I'm exaggerating it a little bit, but I was just kind of like, yeah. So anyway, guys, and I remember afterwards, Chris is like, I thought you were gonna be a lot more like
hyped about it.
Yeah, and I think it was John, because like from Beyond the Wall, because John knows me. Like he's just like, were you like nervous? I said no, I just blanked. I was just kind of like, oh, I have to talk now. I think I was like so hyped about it.
Yeah,
but I just thought I'd share that because that was like I wish someone had recorded that so I could share it and be like, this is the cringiest thing you will ever watch. So, but anyway, talking about the first gig of the Battle of the Band there,
right? Yeah. Anyways, cringy as shit.
Cringy as shit.
So, and then our because we didn't have a gig after that until like August, and that was in May. Like
wow, it's a lot of time.
Well, you have to also remember that was the time where Calvin dipped.
Oh yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry, yeah. Fair enough.
Dom got brought in, and
so that's actually pretty reasonable, all things considered.
Yeah. So yeah, he joined up. Him doing his his darndest. And it's the best I could say. And then we did it at the Firehouse because that's the only place we really knew of to even book.
A lot of good solid shows there.
Oh yeah. And then we brought out a band, can't remember from where, called Denied Existence. I think he talked to you about this.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they're awesome dudes. Like, for our first actual like gig outside of that, it was amazing to be a part of. Like, unreal guys, extremely supportive. We still talk to some of them to this day. But anyways, and then I can't remember. After that, I think we played a show. Can't remember if it was one we booked ourselves at the Wasted Space or we played one in the Diesel Room, both in Oshawa, of course. And I think it might have been the Diesel Room one, but we opened up for a bunch of random bands. I don't remember if we closed it out or not, but they're like, some were like folk, some were like indie, and I'm like, that's just kind of weird, but all right, we're here to have fun.
Yeah, it's just like, oh, get out of my league, open this fucking pit up.
I mean, you're pretty damn close.
I want to see everybody moving, get up, that song is called The City.
Jesus.
I guess now I'll be like, flip a table over. This song is called Blind.
Jesus.
When you guys played, again, I'm going to go over the fucking.
No, go ahead.
When you guys played, I told Dom and I told you when we were judging at the Battle of the Bands this past year. I'm like, when you guys play Blind, that's it. I'm going to flip this table over. This is just TJ representing TJ now. Okay, yeah. I'm not. I'm going to literally lose it. And we came out from the back right when you guys kicked in the blind.
Nice.
And I just turned to the one dude. I don't remember his name. He was such a cool guy. Dude with the glasses.
Right?
Plays with, was it Bohemian Groove, I think?
Bohemian Grove, yeah.
Bohemian Grove, that's it. Yes, Groove. I don't know. But like, he's so cool. And like he was like kind of like, not about, but he was like very like polite and respectful.
Oh, absolutely.
I turned to him. I think I put my hand on his shoulder. I'm like, pardon me a moment. And I went and like just like lost it for that whole song. And I came back, I'm like, yes. So anyway, as you were saying, we should do some cross promotion. Like just like he was just like, what just happened? And then he kicked in the blind. And I was like, I'm sorry, excuse me a moment. Like,
yeah.
It was brutal. But I don't know where I was going with that. I completely
neither do I. You just kind of brought that up, but that's totally okay. Anyways, first gig, awkward, and it just procedurally got less awkward until we felt comfortable.
Yeah. Pretty much.
I actually remember the first like major gig we had was we played a Battle of the Bands set up. I can't remember the company now. They're long dead. And it's a good thing though. They're one of those companies that kind of preyed on like younger, starting out bands.
Was that you guys like signed a contract?
No, that
wasn't okay.
That's a different story. But no, I can't remember what it's called. It went bankrupt, thank God. Because what they were doing was really not nice. But we got thrown into a finals of a Battle of the Bands, and the finals was at the Sound Academy, which was
that's right. I remember
crazy for us. Like it hadn't even been like a year that we were in a band, and we're like, oh shit, like damn. I still remember that night as one of like the coolest nights I've ever been a part of. But the one downside to that being the band that played in front of us, I think I still remember their name. Their name's like Altona or something. I don't know if they're still a band, and if they're not, fucking good.
Damn.
No, like I have nothing like against them as people, but the fact that we had half an hour time slots and they played 45 minutes and nothing was said pissed me off. So our set got brought down to 16 minutes.
Wow.
And we won.
Well, screw them then.
Exactly. That was my immediate emotion. I'm like, all right, fuck you guys. That's what you get. But yeah, so that was probably the first like major gig in my mind. That I'm like, holy shit, this is actually awesome.
Wow, that's pretty sweet.
Yeah.
So as far as when you guys started out, so at this point you've played some shows.
Yeah.
You're starting to gel as a band. Mm-hmm. It's time to sit down and start writing some material or build on some old material you guys have written. So how'd that kind of go at first with the five of you?
Okay, well, I could say for Beautiful Calamity that was mainly Steven and Taylor. They were basically like the main music writers. They were like, all right, let's fucking go. Then they wrote some shit and brought it to us, and we're like, okay, we kind of tweaked it from there. But it was mainly all them. When it came to Lily, I think Lily was just like a random weird thing on the side that we were just like, let's just write like a quick song, like fuck it. And it's a song we still play to this day, oddly enough.
I love that song.
Oh, so do we. And then Witness was kind of that same thing. Like, we were like, oh, let's just write a new song. We did. It went well.
That song, I was waiting. I was like, when can I bring this up again? When you guys played Battle of the Bands, I can't remember when it was.
2014.
Was it? Had to have been the first time I saw you. Basically, the first time I ever saw you guys play.
Yeah,
was there, and I knew. Like, I'd seen a bunch of like live videos and recordings.
Yeah,
I heard a recording of it was the City into Lily Valley.
Yes.
And I literally played it on repeat for like 2 months straight.
Really?
Heading into Battle of the Bands.
Okay.
And I show up and I'm sitting there. And I'm there like representing Gigs Music. I have kind of respect
professional,
for them,
absolutely.
And I'm like, okay. So I'm like hanging out in the back all night, alone basically. Remembering you guys came and sat with me, so thank you for that.
No, not a problem.
You're just like, yo, it's TJ. Like, where's everyone? I'm like, just me, hanging out. And you guys come on, and I'm like, okay, cool, this is gonna be great. But I didn't really know what to expect.
Right.
And all of a sudden, the siren goes off, and I go, dude. And you kick into this drum fill, and like, I was like, oh no, like, and like, I dug that song and that intro, and I didn't hear anything else about it.
Right.
And then it was like, oh yeah, this Resented, and I'm like, well, what happened to that song? Like, what happened? Is it just like Dom kind of talked about it a little bit, but not really? Like, just you guys just kind of scrapped it
now? Okay,
yeah, I'm just curious. Like,
okay,
from your point of view, kind of.
Okay, well, what ended up happening? 2015 Battle of the Bands, we won, yada yada yada, and from that we got the recording time at Chalet Studios, which you were like, yeah, friggin' awesome. And they're like, okay, how many songs do you want to record? And we're like, well, we don't really have anything else but like Witness and a bunch of stuff that we were going to put on Resented at the time. And we're like, well, Witness doesn't really fit with anything else. Like, if we threw it on Resented, it'd be so weird.
Yeah.
So we were like, let's just fucking record Witness. And we're like, all right, cool. So we did that. And basically, it's not like the studio's fault. They were just literally working what they could with. It sounded like ass.
Yeah. It just wasn't.
Yeah, it wasn't up to snuff. Like, we weren't comfortable with releasing it. We were just like, it's a good song, but you know what? The way we did it and the way we thought would work did not work at all. So we were just like, just get rid of it. Like, we can't do anything with it. It was a free song. Like, well, other than on Dom's part, because he had to go in and pay money to keep recording vocals.
Yeah, I remember him telling me about that, how it was just brutal on him, and like,
I had to drive him both days, and just having to watch him and like being like, oh man, he could be doing so much better. Like, I had to look at the guy recording us. His name was Dave, and he's like, is he okay? I'm like, man, he's so much better than this.
He's having a rough go of it. I think he told me he drank like a Slurpee or something. Or was that recording Resented? No, I was recording Resented. Sorry.
Yeah.
He was just like not having a good go of it.
Yeah.
That's as a vocalist. Like, just sometimes even the horrible rough demos I've ever recording vocals, like it sucks sometimes. You go in, yeah, bro, we're gonna knock out like 2 songs today. All right, cool. Go in and you get a line done.
Yeah, exactly.
And you work for 4 hours and you go, I got nothing left, bro. And just like, dude, we got nothing done. Like, that was horrible.
Yeah.
It's like,
well, that's what it kind of felt like. We were just like, oh man, like, I know he's better. And he was like, I know I could do better than that. It's just, it's not coming out. And we're like, all right. So come back another day, tries it again, just like maybe a little bit better. But he's like, this is not me. And we're like, all right. We maybe stayed for like half an hour, and no, this place is like almost an hour away from where we live.
Yeah.
So we're like, all right, we'll come back another day then. He's like, okay. And we did, and that was just as good as it was going to sound. Like, that's what we kind of figured, like, this is as good as it's going to get. And even then, like, it wasn't like up to par with what we wanted.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Like, and it's not necessarily the studio's fault or anything.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
like,
happened, right?
It's amazing studio. Like, all the guys that work there, and like, Chalet Studio is just a beautiful place. Like, if you ever get a chance to just visit,
I remember seeing pictures of it.
It's
videos,
gorgeous,
and it's,
man. Like, they have a house attached to it, and like a giant like green backyard with a pool, and I'm like, holy shit, this is way too fancy for me.
This is too fancy for us, man. What's going on here?
Yeah, I was like, holy shit. But yeah. It's nowhere near their fault. It's just the decisions we made didn't really pan out. So yeah, Witness probably won't see the light of day.
Yeah, no. I told Dom, I said, well, at least a little B-side one day. Maybe re-record that shit and make it the way it's supposed to be. It could be interesting. But talking about recording that.
Yeah.
Going back a little bit to the first EP, Beautiful Calamity.
Yeah.
I just kind of want to hear from you a little bit about how the process went with recording the drums, because this was the first recording you guys had ever done, right?
Well, I kind of touched a little bit on that beforehand when I was talking about 6 Feet, but recording drums for me was actually like probably the easiest part of the entire process, because I recorded the first day of drums. I recorded. What did I record? I recorded the. Damn it! I'm drawing a blank now. I recorded Beautiful Calamity. I know that for a fact. I recorded, I think, half of the city because I couldn't get down like the main like verse part for some reason. Like I just wasn't feeling it, and then Steven took over.
And he recorded some other ones.
Yeah, he recorded actually most of the drums. Like he recorded For All Those Forgotten. He recorded DNS. I can't remember. Yeah, he did do 6 Feet. And then, he did half of the city because, like I said, I couldn't do the verse thing. But when it came to the breakdown, he couldn't do it on his feet. So I took over from the breakdown to the end. So, that was that.
I always forget that, like, he's a drummer. And not only is he a drummer, he's a good drummer.
Yeah, he's a good drummer. He plays piano. He does a lot of stuff. He's
very multi-talented dude.
Yeah, exactly.
Every band needs a Steven.
Yeah, duh. You can't have ours, though. Fuck.
No.
So, that was drums for Beautiful Calamity. Really, I maybe recorded for like 2-3 hours for that entire EP. And then from then on, like that got happened in 2 days. And then from then on, it was just all waiting for them to finish everything else. I was like, my part's done. Like it took them like almost a year or over a year from when I finished or drums were finished to actually get the record out.
Wow.
Yeah, it was over a year because the record actually came out in November of 2014, and drums were started September 2013.
Wow. I'd be going crazy waiting that long.
Well, honestly, at that point, it was like to the point where we're starting to outgrow it, right? We're just like, we just want it out.
Yeah.
Like, just record it, just get it done.
Because I can remember, like, you guys would be like, oh, yeah, like, our new stuff. And I'm like, well, what about
exactly,
the EP?
Right? Like, we started playing stuff like Resented and Loaded Gun before that record ever came out.
I know. I remember that. I remember hearing like a Loaded Gun in that, and I'm like, that's sick, but like,
where's the other stuff, right? Yeah. That's how we felt. We're like, oh boy, this is weird. But yeah, we just did what we had to do.
Oh, for sure. It makes sense now.
Yeah.
After
looking back, it's like, oh, man, why did we do that? But I mean, there's only so much you can do in that situation.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So, sitting here now, how do you feel about your guys' old material, like all the stuff on Beautiful Calamity now, looking back at it?
I would say, like, I don't not like those songs. Let's go with that. Like, I look back at them like, okay, for like a first outing, for like our first actual like record put together, it's like, that's okay. Like, you know what? That's like the demos. Like of early Out of My League. That's what we had at the time, and you know what, there's nothing to be ashamed about it. But looking back and looking at what we have now, like I kind of look at that and go like ugh.
I know what you mean. Like I think Dom kind of said the same thing.
He did. He's like, they're not bad songs, like don't get me wrong, but for like now that we know what we're capable of, and like where we can go, it's like those were like, I guess like practice.
Oh, for sure.
Kind of sounds like.
I know what you mean though. Like comparing, like when I did the little kind of album review for Resented there, forever ago, it feels like now. I think I said in the thing, I was like, you can't compare really like Beautiful Calamity to Resented. Like you can see how you guys have grown, but like
exactly,
it's so hard to compare because like they're you can tell it's the same band.
Oh, absolutely.
But like it's so different,
right?
You look even like I think it was Dom said, like some of the lyrical content on like the song Beautiful Calamity itself, he's like, it's almost juvenile compared to what he writes now, and I'm like, that's so true.
Yeah, and I completely agree. And like we don't really have much to do with the lyrics really. Like he pretty much just, we give him like a song structure, or he'll have lyrics already going, and we'll kind of like put something on top of it sometimes. But like he'll send us the lyrics, and we can pretty much either be like, yeah, that's cool, or be like, you think you could change that part to something different. But other than that, like we maybe nitpick a couple lines, but it's pretty much all him.
You just kind of let him do his thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it's kind of like if you watch someone paint and you're trying to go like, hey, why don't you put a tree there? And he's like, fuck off. Here. You know what?
I'm not putting no tree there, homie.
Put it on fire. Fucking
put a tree on your face.
Jesus. But yeah, it's like you gotta just let him do his thing. Like, just let him.
Sometimes that's the best way to do. Just let someone do their thing.
Exactly. If you know someone's good at something and they're gonna give you like results, just be like, all right, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. Kind of getting that back just a little bit here. To the Battle of the Bands and that. Just kind of getting ready to wrap up part one here. How did it feel as far as going back that second time? Second time with Dom.
Right.
Going back to the Battle of the Bands 2015.
2015, okay.
And winning as far as the year before.
Right.
Where, if I can recall, you guys didn't even place.
No.
Which was, I mean, that was bullshit. And I'm not afraid to say that. Like,
right.
Whatever. But,
yeah. Like 2014 was 2014. Yeah, whatever.
Yeah. Like being the third time you guys performed a Battle of the Bands, you won. Being the second time with Dom.
Right.
How did it feel to kind of go back and win that and win like by a landslide?
Right.
With respect to the other bands that played.
Yeah. It was kind of a weird feeling at that point. Like we had played a bunch of like bigger shows. Well, not a bunch, a couple. Like we started playing bigger shows. Like we opened for the band Slaves in the December before that. We had opened for Phineas that previous April, and then we had played a couple shows with like Drag the Lake and Falsifier and stuff like that. So we had kind of like started to get our like actual footing in like the scene and like actually getting like our actual craft down to like a science at this point.
Not to mention you're like a core fan base.
Exactly. Like we actually started getting things solidified. So going back into that, we kind of like lost that almost, I wouldn't say like competitive edge to it, but like we kind of lost that like we're gonna fucking win.
Yeah, you guys, like you could tell you went in and you were like, we're gonna have so much fun doing this. It's gonna be a great show.
That's exactly how we went into it. We're like, you know what? It doesn't matter if we win. It clearly some of the judges aren't just aren't fans. It's fine. So we're just like, you know what? We're going in. We're gonna put on a solid fucking show. We're gonna give like everyone a good time, and that's all we aim to do.
Absolutely. It was, I think Dom even said the thing. He's like, this is like hometown show.
Exactly.
This is awesome.
Like playing record is like such an awesome experience. Like everyone comes out like in the area and is like, all right, it's time to fucking go.
Oh yeah, and I mean the amount of people that showed up when you guys went on,
which is insane. Crazy. Like honestly, I was looking out to the crowd, I'm like, holy shit, like
it's a lot of people there.
Yeah, like how am I supposed to know how many people would actually show up? Like that's something that almost shocks me a lot of the time. Sometimes like I just say a lot of the time sometimes.
Oh, whatever.
Wow. So yeah, it's almost it's shocking in a way, like just seeing people that like know our words, like shouting them back. Like when we opened for Attila, we had a couple of fans that came out and was like in front of Dom in the opening words are presented, like shouting at him, and I'm like, people take the time to learn our shit. Yeah. Like people care. Like it isn't like it like went from like something that I had fun with to now something that people love. Like people actually enjoy this and listen to it, and I'm like, oh, it's not just us anymore. Like it's other people involved in this, and it's bigger than us. So seeing like crowds like that at Battle of the Bands, it's mind blowing in a sense, where you like go there and like people care about your music, and it's like weird. You know what I mean?
So yeah, for sure. Like I mean, I not from a stance of music, but just
in general.
Yeah, even something that's an appreciation for what you do in any sense of the word. Like that happened to be the year, not to like bring me up or anything, but that was the year that there was that big TJ chant that was like organic and just happened.
Right.
And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Like I think back to it and the feeling, and I almost get tears in my eyes because I was like, holy,
it's such a surreal thing,
like,
right?
This is, and who am I?
Yeah.
To like, I am nobody. Like, just why is this happening? And then people go, oh, well, like, you're TJ. Like, just an appreciation for what I do and what I did. And I was like, all right. So I can understand as far as, like, people chanting your words back to you. Like, I'm like, damn, I get it.
Yeah.
I totally understand where you'd be coming from on that.
But yeah, but more like on topic, like 2015, it was that feeling. It was like, people are here to watch us, and we're going to put on a fucking good show for them. That was it. That was the entire feeling. Like, I don't care if we win. I don't care if we don't win. I don't care if I break my foot. Like,
yeah. Well, I can pretty much say, because it was Outshine that was judging that year, right?
Right.
And I was chilling with them, and I can pinpoint there's 2 moments I can pinpoint where you guys nailed it.
Right.
Number one, when you had the unfortunate incident with the kick drum.
Right.
And it went off, and it was Dom keeping the crowd going.
Right.
And it was the recovery from that, pun intended. Well, recover, I guess, technically. Yeah. I fucked up my own pun there. And, like, just the kick in, and just no more time, let's go. And it was like he just looked at me, and he was like, dude, that was brilliant. Like, because they can appreciate that.
Yeah.
You can tell the other judges were like, sitting there on their
yeah, they're just...
So whatever. But, like... that's sick. That's awesome. And then the other moment, which I've told the story 1,000 times, I swear to God, this last time I'm going to mention it, was the fact that you blew the ass out of my pants because you rocked my ass so hard. That's just all I have to say. But as far as, like, I mean, you've talked about that, but as far as when you're standing there, and I mean, I'm standing there, and second place, Fear the Unknown.
Yeah.
Everyone started freaking out because they're like, there's no way it's not out of my league.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way. And I'm sitting there like Fear the Unknown. I'm like, no, what? Like, just, I'm losing it.
Yeah.
And then, everyone starts freaking out. There's this low rumble. And Chris is just kind of like, yeah, so as you guys probably can guess it, Out of My League wins first. And, like, everyone's losing it. Everyone's, like, hugging each other. There was people crying. Like, I was, like, on the floor. I'm like, no. Like when you guys, like I mean, people say, well, it's the Bonneville out of the bands. Like, yeah, it is what it is. People are not like, it's not like you win a Grammy. Like, damn. But, like,
exactly, right?
On the level it is, the amount of work you guys put in to get that recognition.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, I mean, it's a sweet feeling, but getting your names called, knowing that, like, basically that night, the Bowmanville metal scene won.
Yeah.
Basically, that's what I always say. That was the night the Bowmanville metal scene literally gave everyone the finger.
Exactly. Like, it was just it was, from my perspective, sitting in that crowd, and just, even when Fear the Unknown was called, I'm like, son of a bitch, if we don't win, I'm going to fucking kill someone.
Yeah. It's like you're there to have fun. It's a good time. But, like,
when it comes down to it, you're like, oh, fuck, I still want to win.
Yeah. So it's like, to get that.
I wouldn't have cared if we did win. Like, I'd be like, oh, well, like, Fear the Unknown got second. Good. Like, awesome. But the fact that we did, it was still like, oh, fuck. Like, that's literally 2 years of playing and getting better and better. And it's like, now it's starting to show. Like, someone recognizes it. And it was such a, like, weird moment. Like, and I still remember, from that we got the Chalet Prize. And then we actually got a photography thing, which never actually panned out. I
remember hearing about that didn't end up working out. So
yeah, so
basically, what it is. What I mean,
yeah, pretty much. But yeah, like, it was awesome. Like, it was such a cool moment where everyone was freaking out and was happy for us.
Yeah.
Even.
Oh, that was. I just, even me talking about it, like, I'm just like, I remember it. I'm like, damn, like, just, like, literally, like, on the floor, just. What? And the bum out being that Chris wanted me to come up and announce second place, because it was our prize back for gigs, and I had the fucking ass over my pants. So I'm like, no. But I told him, and I tell him this every time I see him, I'm like, I'm still pissed at you for not telling me who was going to at least place second, because I would have ran up. I would take my pants off. I don't fucking care. I would have been up there like, like, because then I would have known. Like, yeah. And it would have been so cool to see that. But at the end of it, it's awesome. I mean, I know you talk about how awesome that is and stuff. So that's awesome. I say awesome a lot. Just kind of real quick here.
Yeah.
As far as this past year, you've talked about Ballad Man, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
Are you going to be returning ever if the offer comes out to be a judge again?
Honestly, probably.
Yeah.
I won't lie to you. Like, it was stressful. Like, it was stressful being there and being like, I'm like an authority on this for some reason. And it's like, I don't know why, but I'm here.
But I'm here.
And in all honesty, I still had a lot of fun with it. As stressful and as nerve-wracking as it was still an interesting experience to sit there and actually critique bands and sometimes even learn from them. Like, look at them and be like, okay, that was interesting. Like, I can pick off of that.
Mm-hmm. You want to learn how to have fun while playing.
Exactly. That's
watch
like
Beyond the Wall.
Oh, absolutely. Like, the entire time they were playing, I'm like, yeah, this is awesome.
This is feel good.
Exactly.
And their attitude this past year was your guys' attitude last year. They just came in, they were like, oh, we're not going to play this.
Yeah.
We just
want to have fun.
We haven't played Bowmanville.
Yeah.
You're here, like, the guys are here, like, this is going to be awesome.
Yeah.
Seeing a bunch of friends, like, we're going to rock out. And they went up there and just had fun for like 25 minutes or however long the set was, and then came down. They were like, yeah, cool, all right.
Yeah.
It's like, all right. How was it when, going back to Mr. Lee Ibanez from We Are X, I can't remember what song it was.
It was a Marianas Trench song.
Yeah, and in the bridge, he's, I am not the only one. I am my father's son. I am a sinner and a menace and a loaded gun. Like, I just messed up the lyrics there, but
it's fine, whatever.
And like, there was that delayed reaction where right away I was like, oh shit, because I
picked up on it. I'm like, whoa.
And I think it was Ali runs up and like grabbed you. He's like, dude, did you just hear that?
Pretty much. It was so weird just even hear that. I'm like,
yeah. Like, it was weird, but it was like I could tell it was him kind of just the old tip of the hat.
Oh, absolutely. Which was very heartwarming. It was like, yeah, someone like appreciates us to the point where they're like, we're gonna give you a little nod in our cover, and I'm like, hey,
give you a little nod here, a little nod to Out of My League.
There you go.
So, talk about a whole bunch of stuff, lots of random segues and that kind of thing.
Yeah.
This has been a lot of fun. We still have tons more to talk about. we haven't even touched on friggin' like any of the Resented or anything like that. So we still got lots more to go. But I'm gonna cut it here today for right now for part one. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Anthony, thank you for hanging out. Sit tight for like 3 days and we'll do this again.
Yeah.
All right, so that was part one of my conversation with Anthony from Out of My League. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I really do. I had a blast doing it. Hopefully you guys didn't mind all the random segues and that kind of thing. It was just, we got going and it was just, there was no stopping it. It was so much fun. So, again, hope you guys enjoyed it. Be sure to check Anthony and Out of My League out on the Facebook, the Twitter, and the Instagram. I will be tagging them in all this. And you guys can definitely look forward to part two, which will be up on Sunday. It's another really, really awesome conversation. Not as long as this part one was, but still really a lot of fun. We kind of get more into Out of My League. We talk a little bit about Resented and kind of the process for tracking, that kind of thing for Anthony. We talk about whole bunch of other stuff as well, so definitely look forward to that, guys. It's going to be a lot of fun. Thank you so much for tuning in, clicking that play button today. I really appreciate it, no matter how you're listening. If you're listening on the SoundCloud, you know to hit that follow button. I appreciate it. You know, if you're listening on the YouTube, to hit that subscribe, give this video a like, a dislike, depending on what you thought about it. Be sure to comment, anything like that. And last but not least, if you are listening on the iTunes, easiest way to listen to The Harder Show, be sure to hit that subscribe button and keep up with everything that goes on the iTunes with The Harder Show. You don't even have to think about it. Once you hit that subscribe button, The Harder Show is automatically downloaded to your device when it is posted. Who doesn't like that? You know what I'm saying? Who doesn't like just not having to think about it? It just happens. So that's going to do it for me today, guys. Thank you so much again for tuning in, and I will catch you guys next time on The Harder Show.